This is Goodwill of Middle Georgia and the CSRA.
That's the craziest
this
part
is
about
not
all
Goodwill, New York, Goodwill,
Right,
wherever. It is a full cycle where it starts with your donation, filters all the way through the things that I've been talking about and the services that we offer, and fuels right back into expanding it.
That's really cool.
This
That's
is
incredible.
your
Goodwill investing into Augusta, Georgia.
Welcome to Drop the Disc. This week's guest, Tripp Harrison, is the Executive Director of Goodwill Enterprises and the Edgar's Hospitality Group for Middle Georgia.
So we've got 34 counties that we're responsible for, and it goes essentially your Goodwill, or for the CSRA, starts in Aiken County and goes into Augusta, over all the way to Lake Oconee, down to Forsyth, Georgia, Macon, Georgia, Warner Robins, Dublin, and kind of that's our footprint.
We started the conversation by talking about Goodwill, its mission, and what they're doing in the CSRA.
Lots of free services. Everything from, you need to learn how to write a resume that you've had 3 generations of poverty and no example of what it means to go to work. We can help teach you that for free. We get access and partnerships through employers. You walk in our door and you're a single mom of 3 kids, and I'm at the end of my wit's end and just don't know where to go, don't know where to turn. I'm going to get evicted this month or this week or whatever. And, we've got resources and people we can align you with. And so we kind of have that support structure to really help prop people up and not prop them up for the sake of continuing it. Because what our next conversation is going to be, well, how do we help break this cycle of doing this so you don't end up like this next month?
We also talked about the exciting innovations that the Edgar's Hospitality Group is making for the Goodwill Enterprise, innovation that is happening right here.
Again, typical culinary schools, you maybe get lucky to get, 1 chicken or 2 chickens to cut up and hope you know how to cut the chicken up. We come to you and say, we've got dinner for 600 tomorrow. We need 600 chickens cut up. There's nowhere else currently in the country or the world that we know of that if you want to work in a private club, you can come to this college, this culinary school, and have real world hands-on experience walking out the door with your degree.
The innovation that's going on in the CSRA is really exciting, and we're really excited to share it with you. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Drop the Disc podcast, recorded at Augusta Podcast Studio. This episode, like all episodes, is presented and sponsored by Nancy Powell. Of course, we thank Nancy Powell for sponsoring us. We love that she's been a part of what we've been doing this whole time. But today isn't going to be a regular plug for Nancy. Today is a congratulations for Nancy. She has been voted Cyber City's best real estate agent by the Augusta Chronicle, and her company, Powell & Associates, was one of the best real estate companies as voted for in Cyber City's best as well. Congratulations, Nancy. We've been talking about how great you are, and clearly other people are too. Nancy Powell, Powell & Associates, contact her at Downtown Augusta Broker on Instagram. We love her, and so does the city of Augusta.
Hey guys, I'm Chris.
Hey guys, I'm David.
And we are the hosts for Drop the Disc podcast. And we are super excited for our guest today.
Yeah, our neighbor actually came either up or downstairs, depending on where he was last.
Right. Yeah.
To give us a visit. And let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Tripp Harrison. I work with Edgar's Hospitality Group and created a lot of fun venues around the city, Edgar's Grill and the Pinnacle Club, and soon to open Edgar's Above Broad.
And when you say Edgar's, isn't that from Goodwill?
It is, yeah. Actually, Edgar Helms is the founder of Goodwill back in 1902, and started off with the mission of helping people kind of change their lives and get a hand out of poverty and things that are barriers to employment, and give them the dignity of work and kind of working their way up. And so that's been the mission of Goodwill, and that's kind of what we do, and that's what gets us out of bed every morning.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Goodwill has helped me find Hawaiian t-shirts when I need them.
Yes, there's that too.
Hawaiian, any theme party, they hook me up.
Just go ahead and go right on in. So Tripp, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions about all the development you've been a part of in Augusta.
Sure.
But first, you owe us your personal story. And so
You
we're going to
do.
start with that. Are you originally from the city of Augusta?
I'm actually not. I feel like I am. Lived here for about 4 years.
You dress like you are.
Do I? Well,
He dresses like something from Ole Miss?
Definitely the Southeast. Definitely the Southeast.
Hotty toddy.
Maybe Ole Miss.
Absolutely.
Is that where you grew up, Mississippi?
Yeah. So
Okay.
born and raised in Oxford, Mississippi. Met my wife, who I'm still married to today after 20 years.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. We have had a journey all over the Southeast United States. We both left, and growing up at Ole Miss or around Ole Miss in the college life, and I had older brothers that I had pretty much enjoyed the fraternity life and tailgating, and long before I ever graduated high school. So I can admit that now since I'm over 21. But at the end of the day, we both agreed we need to get the hell out of here. Let's go somewhere else. So we ended up in Charleston, South Carolina, and I went to culinary school, and my wife was a teacher, and so we did that and just had a lot of fun, and we've lived all over the Southeast in several different cities. I think we moved collectively about 8 or 9 times now.
Okay.
So that's been fun. But our last stop is here. We moved here from Atlanta about 4 years ago, and have not looked back since. I mean, we've really warmed up to this city, and the city's welcomed us with open arms, and just really enjoyed it.
We love to hear that. And before we talk too much about you being in Augusta, you went to culinary school.
Indeed.
Tell us a little bit about how that journey took you. What's that career path look like for you? You said 10 different cities. I'm holding you to that.
Yeah, so set out to go to culinary school. First of all, in Mississippi, we didn't have culinary school there. In fact, I was working in a restaurant as a chef in a upscale steak restaurant, and my owner said, "Hey, you really got a knack for this. You should. Have you ever thought about culinary school? What the hell is that? Is that real?
Do they do that?
That's a school? Of course, add in a y'all, and do they serve collard greens there?
Right.
I went back and I talked with my family, which they also had the same, like, you're going to do what? No, that's not real. That's a hobby.
Right.
And so we looked into it, and it turned out it was a pretty cool deal. And, we looked into going to both two of the most prestigious culinary schools in the country, CIA or in New York. Or Johnson & Wales in Charleston, and we don't do cold, being from Mississippi, so Charleston we came, and that was a lot of fun. So worked in several restaurants, and both locally owned in Charleston, as well as kind of moved into a corporate restaurant environment in Birmingham. And then, lo and behold, when you go to culinary school, you think really my only options are work in a hotel or work in a restaurant. And I very quickly had the good fortune of discovering that there's such a bigger world out there. And so I had an opportunity to join this big global firm, and went and worked in the corporate dining world. So it was serving Fortune 1000 companies and executive dining rooms and lots of stuff like that. And then even kind of meandered my way through in that company. We had contracts to do all the PGA food serve, or about 11 tournaments, including the championship and a few other majors. And we would travel. The Masters here, they've got the good fortune of having fixed kitchens, and the tournament's always here.
Right.
Well, imagine doing exactly what they do, or to some level of
But
that.
a different place every year, right?
Every tournament, every year.
My goodness.
Every month.
Right.
So
that's what you were doing.
Yep. So we were traveling around doing that, and that was super fun until I had to get off the road, and we want to start focusing on building a family. So anyway, got back into corporate dining and did that, and then left that big company because I've really found my success in dealing with companies I can make a difference in, make an impact, and kind of put your fingerprints on building,
right,
versus being a cog in a wheel of a big behemoth,
right.
Right. So joined a boutique firm in Atlanta, and we did cultural arts centers and corporate dining, lots of other stuff, and catering, and then got a random phone call from a headhunter about 4 years ago for this gig, and said, "Hey, got an executive role with Goodwill," and I said, "I don't really know much about the thrift store business. Like, this is not."
Did you see the right resume? Right. Are you? Did you spell my last name wrong?
You must be really desperate, man.
Right.
I am not doing. So. But he said, "Look, this is not your grandmama's Goodwill. You need to get over here and check this out. What these guys are doing." So came over. And rest is history. Been here for 4 years, and kind of my core responsibilities are building the hospitality brand of the organization, which is a experiential learning venue of Helms College.
Yeah. And we're lucky to have you here building all this stuff.
Yes, we are.
I'm curious. I have a personal question for you. My dad used to be a chef, and he always says, like, "Oh, I just love cooking fish. It's my favorite thing." For some reason, he loves cooking tilapia. I think that's ridiculous. Right. No, we're on the same page. I don't disagree. But he has favorite things that he likes to cook, whether it's tilapia, whether it's ribs. When you were a chef, obviously you were doing a vast different things all the time. But did you have any specialties? Did you have anything you really liked to do?
My home was always going back to grilling, right? So I love grilling a good steak. That's what I grew up. I mean, every Friday night, my dad, I'd come home from whatever we were doing in school all the way I can remember as a kid. I mean, we had steak. That was like Friday night deal. And so, seeing dad out on the grill and all that comes with all that, kind of camaraderie and hanging out. We had friends over. And so, yeah, I mean, going back to grilling and cooking a kick-ass steak is something I just... I try to do that as often.
So grilling a steak, that's your thing.
That's the thing.
What's your cook on it?
Medium rare.
That's accurate.
Nice.
If
Absolutely.
you cook it over, you should eat a boot.
You're wasting money. You'd be better off.
Right?
If it's seasoned well, I'll eat a boot. I'm just kidding. It's got to have a little bit of pink.
Right.
A little bit.
I've been watching too much Master Chef to even consider anything above medium rare.
Well, I was going to ask a similar question. So you're a chef. Do you have a favorite entree? Like, what is your? You said Mississippi. I'm assuming grits poured over everything
Like
would
to eat?
be
Like
Such a stereotype.
to eat. A hottie,
Grits on steak. That's what he's about to tell
champagne,
us.
maybe. I don't know. Chandelier in the tent. I don't know. You tell me. No. What is your now? Looking back now, or even now, with the Pinnacle Club and whatnot, you can do a plug. I don't care. What is your go-to entree to eat personally?
I like to say a mistake.
Steak.
Steak.
Or just a really good clean fish.
Okay.
Not tilapia.
That's fair. I don't blame you.
But a good clean fish, it's cooked simply, prepared simply with great quality ingredients and the side dishes and things that go with it, and just nice and refreshing. Kind of a taste of the local area, whatever is it within. A local region, if you will, going all the way to the coast if you need to, especially for the fish piece. But I mean, if you taste what's
Do you have
coming
a
from the
favorite kind of fish?
grouper probably.
Really? Mine's swordfish.
Yeah.
You had swordfish?
Oh, of course.
Oh, it's
I
the
could tell you
steak of the sea.
Well, I don't know if you want to eat it if you've seen what I've seen and a lot of chefs have seen.
Well, let's not talk about that.
Is it the kind of fish that you can drop on the floor and then pick it back up and clean it real quick and put it back on?
No, but sometimes it can have slugs that meander their way through, and they get bigger as they go through. And as a chef, you get a big fat loin of swordfish that hits your cutting board from the seafood. Of course, they can't see the inside of it, right? And you go to cut into it, and there's this little black thing. Like, what the hell is that? And you keep cutting the portions into it. Next thing you know, you end up with this nice slug that's kind of bored its way through because
You're killing me.
I just don't
And
do
they
swordfish.
still serve it.
As long as you cut around it, you're okay.
So my favorite fish is now shark. I now no longer like
Mahi's
swordfish.
good.
Mahi is also
Mahi's
great.
very
Mahi is
good.
great.
If somebody else is picking up the tab, I'll go with like halibut or sea bass.
There you go.
Oh,
There you
there
go.
it is. There it is.
So you moved to Augusta 4 years ago.
Yep.
4 years ago, if I remember correctly, which time is blurring together in my life, so I don't know if I do. But 4 years ago, there was a lot of kind of development downtown. Like Soleil was just opening up. What were your thoughts of Augusta when you moved here? I mean, you've lived everywhere in the Southeast, it sounds like.
Yeah, a lot of them. I think, my upbringing in a smaller city like Oxford, Mississippi, which is back at the time when I was living there, was about 30,000 people with students. So, it was a big deal when we got a second McDonald's, right? And the Super Walmart, oh my God, they threw a parade.
Dollar
it was
General.
a big deal.
Dollar General.
They came later on. They were way behind the curve.
They follow Walmart.
Yeah, so, when I got here, Augusta prior to this, and I mean, no disrespect to this whatsoever, Augusta being from either I lived in Atlanta or Charlotte, it was a place where I would stop to get gas, a coffee, or use the restroom on the way to somewhere else. So it never even hit my radar. That was another thing when the headhunter called and like, oh, Augusta, Georgia. And I was like, okay. My wife looked at me like, really? What's there? So it was really, Heather and I took it as a discovery process. Let's go and pour our heart into this city and let's see what it's all about and how can we be a part of building it and being the future. And of course, coming from a small town, I get small town, some of the political sides and the people who are from there and, that's that crowd and this crowd and they don't really blend. And, I can say that with confidence that, I had some great people that put their arms around me and really kind of brought you into the fold of it and got to see the pulse of the city and what was going on. And it really inspires you to, let's get up to get down and, have some fun. So
let's get up to get down.
Get up
That's
to
what
get
you
down.
said.
Self-plug.
Right? I
love that.
Self-plug, maybe.
Right.
We'll get there later.
right. So, yeah, it's, I love the energy and what the city's got going on. And yeah, I mean, like any town, there's a lot of challenges going on, and there's, whether it be financial or, people won't get out of their own way kind of thing. But, it was really intriguing. I joined Leadership Augusta, my first year here, I believe it was. And going through that I recommended to everybody, by the way. Plug for them.
And that's through who is that? That's through the Chamber of Commerce? Put on by the Chamber,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Supar and the Leadership Augusta board and team, they do a great job with this. But it really immerses you into the city. It's about a 9-month program, and it gets you exposure to all sorts of things behind the scenes. But it was intriguing because half of our class were folks that were from here, half of our class was folks that were not from here. And so it even opened a lot of eyes to people who are from here who thought they knew everything about Augusta. But probably one of the coolest moments, especially being so new to the city, we had someone, and I won't name their name or their role, but they were a highly influential person in this city and were from this city. And they made the comment, and they said, in this group setting, raise your hand if you're from here. And of course, half the room raised their hand. Raise your hand if you're not from here. And once we did that, the other half of the room raised their hand, and then he made the comment, and he said, okay, those of you who are from here, look at those who are not from here, and if you don't step up and be a part of the change and a part of the evolvement of this city and where it's going, they're going to turn it into their city. And so that was such an eye-opening kind of thing, especially to the folks that were from here, and they all agreed. They said, you know what, we've got to be a part of steering the path of this city as it goes, and to help it bring it to a brighter future. And so I feel confident 4 years later, that we're on that path, and there's some really good stuff, even though we've got the current COVID matters going on.
Right.
That even though that's kind of a little pause in things, I think this city's on a great path, to do some good stuff if we get out of our way.
So when you were called by this headhunter to work here, did y'all have hands on the Pinnacle Club at the time?
No, we did not.
Okay, so at that point it was just Helms College.
What was the pitch? Yeah, what was the pitch?
So, well, the pitch from a headhunter standpoint, for me coming in here running, tens of billions of dollars worth of business, tens of millions, not billions, sorry, millions of dollars.
Get ahead of yourself now, buddy.
Easy.
Just one letter.
Just one simple letter. Oh, goodness. But, running large operations, this was a chance to me to truly help come in and help shape something right now. Mind you, our CEO who and the board who came up with this whole idea and the concept of it, they had set the path, years before I got here. My task was to come in and let's sharpen it up and let's take it to the next level, and really make it something that is the benchmark for others to follow. Let's make it something that is, really impactful for the student to help change their life as part of Helms College. And so that was a really big deal. And then the idea is that, okay, let's take this, fix what we have or improve what we have rather, and then let's build upon it and build upon that success and continue, ongoing. So
stay tuned. After the break, we talk about Helms College and the growth of Edgar's Hospitality Group in Augusta, Georgia. This is the Drop the Disc podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
David, have you ever tried the Oktoberfest beer?
I think I did last year, but I don't know if I have this year.
I'm telling you right now, it's available right now at Savannah River Brewery in the tap room. It's delicious. I'm talking about this because Oktoberfest week
is coming up.
It's September 22nd to 26th, and usually it is a full day.
Right.
But due to COVID-19, it is a full week. Stay 6 feet apart, but guys, they're still doing it. Savannah River Brewery has done such a great job with cultivating a great presence in the city of Augusta.
Right.
And so basically all I'm saying is if you have no plans for Oktoberfest, if you would like to try a great beer.
Or if you do have plans, maybe you change them.
Yeah.
September 22nd through 26th?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know axe throwing is involved. So anyways, guys, Savannah River Brewery, I want you to check out their Oktoberfest. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram. They have all of the updates for that event there for you. And any small batch that's coming. Actually, I've heard a rumor from one of the brewers.
Oh, crap.
Beacons are wit.
And we'll just leave it on that?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Savannah River Brewing Company, Augusta, Georgia. Oktoberfest is coming soon. Oktoberfest beer is already here.
It's already here.
Check them out. They are fantastic.
So maybe what we need to do is talk about Helms College and then talk about what we have now.
I think so.
So
I think so.
So when I went, did you ever do social?
No.
Okay,
I'm
so-
aware of it. All my friends did.
So
but no.
I did social 6th through 8th grade of my life, 3 years, and it was in this building.
Did your parents ask if you wanted to do it, or did they?
Definitely
put you in
not.
the See,
heard
my
it's not
mom
a
said,
choice.
"Hey, do you want to learn how to dance, or do you want to stay
It was
home?"
like matchmaking. They didn't even ask who I wanted to be my partner. They just said, "This is who it's going to be." Like it or not, there you go. We already did their money. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so I did social, and it was literally just social and Dairy Queen in this giant building. Okay, you want to know why Dairy Queen is still there? Because it's social,
Right?
Okay, but now Dairy Queen is legit. It came back. But anyways, so
Did they?
they did.
Debatable.
My wife
Debatable.
will tell you they did.
Yeah, you guys can walk there though. You have
We can.
an interesting
Truth.
perspective on
Yes,
that.
yes. Anyways, so what I want to know is, I'm sure you know the history of how Helms College came about. And could you tell our listeners about how that came about and
Right.
Edgar's Grill and all
Right.
that?
And like the mission, because it's all
mission.
linked together.
Yeah, the
right?
the job link, the connections, everything that y'all do there. And I feel like once that was established and grew, it sounds like and it seems like everything blew up.
Right.
So could you take it away?
Yeah, I think that our goodwill here and the mission that we're doing and the activities that we're doing are such a treasure for this city that most people don't even know about, sadly. Again, and that's, we need to get our story out there and people just, need to understand kind of what we do. Because a lot of people, again, you think of Goodwill, you think it's one big national organization. And
you think of the retail store where
Right.
you go to buy a Hawaiian shirt.
Right, exactly. Go out and have a good time.
100%.
And so, again, I mentioned earlier when we started that, Goodwill was founded back in 1902 by a guy named Edgar Reverend Edgar Helms. And his goal was to, again, change people's lives through, at that time, it was skills training, right? So it was a cobbler, a seamstress, a watch repair, things like that to give these people skills that they could then carry on. And in these industries or these jobs were low barriers to entry. So it was easy to give them the education and the foundation and then take them and get them to work, right? And start earning a decent income. So fast forward, years after that time, which has been quite a few decades, excuse me, and you've got our board and our CEO, because again, our Goodwill is not a national organization. It is a national footprint. There's over 100.
But it's run regionally, right?
Yeah, it's run locally.
So what's our local region?
So we've got 34 counties that we're responsible for, and it goes essentially your Goodwill or for the CSRA starts in Aiken County and goes into Augusta over all the way to Lake Oconee, down to Forsyth, Georgia, Macon, Georgia, Warner Robins, Dublin, and
I gotta get to that
footprint.
Lake Oconee Goodwill. There's probably some good stuff
got
there.
Some good stuff there. Maybe.
Southern Vines.
But what you do, you don't interact with that part of it. You are just dealing with the Helms College side, right?
So yeah, so essentially the retail store funds the mission,
Right.
and the college side and the hospitality side, we're all the mission side of this, right? And so the mission side of this is, our CEO and our board, back when they first came up with this iteration, which is the first version was down in Macon, Georgia, and they came up with this concept, and so they did a lot of research and looking and saying, okay, the best way to help change people's lives with barriers to employment and some of the other challenges is to essentially give, it's through education. And so if we can give them credentials or we can give them a college, not give them, but they earn a college degree,
Right.
that's going to be a game changer. Now, the difference is, it's like, okay, well, we're going to do a culinary school or culinary hospitality program. Well, there's other schools that have those programs, including some of our technical colleges in the area.
So now you're differentiating, right?
Yep. And so and there's nothing wrong with those programs. However, we are in a position where we have, by nature, because typically the original mission was, okay, you come in, you donate the goods, we turn around and sell those, we do job training within the store itself, and then we also take those additional revenues that are earned from that and we provide free services, lots of free services. Everything from, you need to learn how to write a resume that you've had 3 generations of poverty and no example of what it means to go to work. We can help teach you that for free. We get access and partnerships through employers. You walk in our door and you're a single mom of 3 kids and I'm at the end of my wit's end and just don't know where to go, don't know where to turn. I'm going to get evicted this month or this week or whatever. And, we've got resources and people we can align you with. And so we kind of have that support structure to really help prop people up and not prop them up for the sake of continuing it. Right. Because what our next conversation is going to be, well, how do we help break this cycle of doing this so you don't end up like this next month? And so that's when we can have a conversation with these wraparound resources. Let's help you. But then let's also talk about making a change. And so where we come into a difference in several ways, with having a culinary school or a college, and we have other parts of the school as well as we've started to expand in future plans, is really to say, okay, we can get you into college. And again, some of these folks that are going to college, it could be something as simple as my car broke down. Okay, well, I missed a day of school. I'm just not going to go back. Instead, we've got, again, that support structure. We're calling these folks and we're talking to them and talking to them, hey, come on back. It's going to be okay. We'll work around it. Let's make some adaptations, whatever we need to do to help make this work, to make you a success so that you can flourish in life and kind of get you past this. Because a lot of times these folks that we've worked with, they're one speed bump away from a problem, and it's hard to get back out of that problem, and they continue to repeat that problem sometimes. And a lot of it's circumstantial, and it's not necessarily, things that they're doing, but it's really about how do you build them up. And so that was the college model. And again, and so it's a fully accredited associate degree level program, and we also have diploma programs as well. And so when in creating this concept, it was not just good enough just to let's create the education environment, but what else can we do? And so when they did this, they created and said, we need an applied learning or experiential learning, hands-on venue that is
now we're talking about Edgar's Gurl.
Enter the hospitality group. And so this
becomes... And by the way, Snelling Center, that's a part of that too, right?
Yep, sure is. And so we started this in Macon years ago, and we have a conference center down there, Anderson Conference Center. So that was the catering space. And it's a conference center that can accommodate upwards of 600 plus people. We've also got the original Edgar's concept, which was Edgar's Bistro. Edgar's Gurl is kind of the 2.0 version of it. And Snelling Center is the kind of the 2.0 version of the conference center. And so these venues provide several different things. One is that they provide a experiential learning venue for the students, right? This is where the students can apply their craft in a real world retail environment so that they are learning hands-on with real guests coming in the door, and paying for dinner and things like that. And so it's, again, typical culinary schools, you maybe get lucky to get, one chicken or two chickens to cut up and hope you know how to cut the chicken up. We come to you and say, we've got dinner for 600 tomorrow. We need 600 chickens cut up. So, it's a lot more hands-on repetition and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, and so that's kind of why our hospitality group exists, which is named, Edgar's Hospitality Group after Edgar Helms. And then, of course, Helms College with...
Right. So Helms College was kind of the baby. And then out of Helms College, it said, okay, we need jobs training. And so that's how we get Edgar's Gurl. That's how we get Snelling Center. So you guys do the catering for Snelling Center, right, as well?
We sure do. We do.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Is Helms College only in Augusta, Georgia?
Yeah, so this whole concept is just within our local community. So this is between
so are you like a dean of a college? Are you kind of like a dean of a
No. So
he's a dean of a college. That's what they all say.
He totally is. He totally is. So you're a CEO and a dean of a college.
Right, exactly.
Simultaneous.
So our the way we work, so I lead the experiential learning venue side of it, right?
Got it.
And the accredited school
side of it. And what that
means
to like the layman is like the restaurants and the venues, right? Okay.
So all the venues where these students would work or where you can come eat or have an event or do something. So I oversee all of that from an operational standpoint, right? And so the school has its own set of people and its own team that lead, and these folks they've got master's degrees and all sorts of stuff that make me look really, really dumb, but they're great people though. But they put together the formality of the education because there is a lot of requirements and a lot of rigor that goes into a career college environment. To make sure that these folks are getting quality education before they go out in the real world, right?
Absolutely.
So how does the Pinnacle Club which is 5 floors above us, which you are also the purveyor of? Mm-hmm. How does that fit into this? When does the Pinnacle Club become an important part of this?
Yeah, so we were approached a while back about, hey, and we get called all the time.
Is this before Tripp or after Tripp?
No, this is during my time.
You're here, okay.
Mm-hmm. This was, I guess, at this point, about 2 years or so into my role here.
Gotcha.
And so...
so this was about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we were... Actually, it was about 2.5 years ago at this point.
Gotcha.
But, So we were approached, and we get approached often, and a lot of restaurateurs could probably say the same thing, that, you get some of these folks that'll call you up like, hey, I got this perfect property that you guys should come open a restaurant.
Right.
Well, that's not what we do. We don't just come around opening restaurants, right?
Right.
We really need a Goodwill restaurant.
Right. So it's it's really tricky to do this. But anyway, we got approached and said, hey, there's this place at the top of the building downtown Augusta, and would you guys like to consider maybe putting something up there? And I was like, well, no, but because again, the top of the building downtown, but it's not anywhere near our campus.
It doesn't really sound like your thing.
I mean, again, we're not in the business of opening up a bunch of new restaurants just for the sake of opening.
And there
restaurants.
to be clear, there was a Pinnacle Club before you guys took it over, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys took over the Pinnacle Club.
Well, we didn't take over. So we assumed operations. So the board of governors voted us to be the hospitality group that leads the operations.
Excellent.
Gotcha.
They were doing it for themselves for quite some time, and they've had other companies in there, management companies before, but they basically selected us to come in and really just, here's the keys. You guys make this place a world-class club again. And so we did. And so we came in and through some right strategic investments and really updating the club to the level that it is today, and turning it into the new club. And but at the same time, retaining some of the rich history that was there, because we've got quite a collection of members and diverse group of members. And so it was important that we made sure that we didn't just turn this into something that was too far left or too far right.
Right. So let's talk about the Pinnacle Club for a second.
Yeah.
How many members does the Pinnacle Club have?
Well, that's a trade secret.
Do we not talk? Okay, we can't talk. Okay, that's fine. The Pinnacle Club is a part of like a member organization, right? So there's people like nationwide that come to the Pinnacle Club.
There are, yeah. There's different types of membership. I mean, you can have individual memberships. It's by invitation only. But you can have...
take a second. Go ahead and plug it. Just plug everything that you can. Just go ahead and do it.
This is your chance, man.
Put it on the table.
And I got something to ask as well.
Well,
Don't you worry.
Let me table the membership piece, because I want to talk about that, because when we get to Edgar's Above Brawl, there's some killer benefits that members have access to, and tie it all together.
Go ahead.
So anyway... So the club, again, we looked at the model, and at this point we were also going down a path of deciding, how else can we enhance the programs that we have, right? Beyond just this, because we're never an organization just to stand still and go, yep, we did it, we're here, we made it. The goal is always how do we do this bigger, better, faster, stronger, and to create ultimately a better experience for our guests that come in the door, from the folks who support our organization and the people that are impacted by the programming that our mission has, right? And so, we started talking about, again, a lot of culinary schools typically teach you just the basic fundamentals of, here's how to hold a knife, here's how to chop an onion. And some of them do a great job at it. Some of them, you're lucky if you can chop that knife when you're done.
It can be hit or miss.
Still learning how to chop an onion.
Right?
It's different every time.
Just watch MasterChef, dude. Or go to Helms College, plug, right?
Yeah.
Right? There we go.
Yeah.
And so we decided that, there's a great opportunity here to perhaps start to specialize and focus. So if you were a student looking for, again, back to that, I thought back to when I went to culinary school. I could only work at a restaurant or a hotel. That's going to be my options, either own my own place. And, ultimately this could open some doors to different things. And so we have made the decision that, we're going to start creating some specialized programs that align with industry partners, but also align with, if you have an interest in this, or opening your eyes to, hey, you can come in and get the basic fundamentals of how to chop an onion, but then let's start to specialize you in different things, because a regular restaurant or hotel versus a club world are two totally different things, right? Your guests, if they have the expectations, can be completely different. On many levels. And so getting someone to have exposure to that is something really unique. And so these, there's nowhere else currently in the country or the world that we know of that if you want to work in a private club, you can come to this college, this culinary school, and have real world hands-on experience walking out the door.
Right. And all of this seems to go back to Helms College. So Helms College is this seed that grew the restaurants, grew the venue, and now you have the Pinnacle Club as well.
Yep.
Fun fact question for you to answer. How many people are at Helms College right now? How many how many people are from the area, or how many people come and commute to the Helms College, and what are y'all's numbers at?
Right now, it's probably 99% all local.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, and they're sort of not. We're more of a commuter school.
And that's exactly what y'all want to be.
Yeah. Right. I mean, as of right now, so we've
Right.
got
Yeah,
some
there's no
elements.
dorms. There's no dorms behind the
Not
building.
Right.
yet.
No.
Ooh. But how many a minute people are here?
Right.
So we've got over 300 students. I don't know. Forgive me. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but I know
that's fine.
it's over 300 students, and
Wow.
we've got capacity to continue that pretty, substantially.
And when you
in the right way.
started,
Huge.
so the first right now you have 300. The first couple years, what were you at?
I wasn't around, but it was like a classroom.
Wow.
So we're
That's
talking
incredible.
like 50 people
I mean, you
like
gotta-
in the college at a time.
Less than that. I mean,
So it's
this-
grown
this
by
is-
over 6 times.
This
And-
is yeah.
These are people that do they have to have like an associate degree or just right out of college, just
This-
a GED?
This is their associate degree. So this
Okay.
is a fully
Anyone can
accredited
do it.
associate.
Anyone. That's incredible.
Yeah.
300 people.
So and we've got a blend, right? So we've got people that are coming straight out of high school. We got folks that are coming out of the military, and what do I do with my GI Bill, or what do I do with, again, people coming through our job connections and saying, hey, I need to change my life, and what can I do? And let's talk about a career. Oh, hospitality, great opportunity to go into, and easy for me to quickly go through school, get a great education, and then bang, go right to work. I don't have to work 15 years, 20 years to get somewhere. I can do it pretty quickly.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to talk to Tripp about the Pinnacle Club and some upcoming ventures that he's very excited about. So this next community partner, they have been working alongside us to help our mission really for the last few months and as long as we've been able to talk to them. And that's, of course, the Clubhouse at the Cyber Center. The Clubhouse at the Cyber Center, we've talked about how they're great for businesses. We've talked about how they've worked with us to help us put on even our human rights panel that we did. But their resources aren't just for people that are business owners, right? So you can be working from home and maybe you just need an office. Maybe you need a change of pace. You need some great internet, a great environment, maybe a kitchenette to go with it so that you have that vibe from home. The Clubhouse is amazing. It'll put you in a position to succeed. And that is not even mentioning the fact that they're doing networking events. They're virtual networking events, but they're still doing them. You can get involved in the community. That's what we're all about here. You can stay involved in the community. And the Clubhouse is a great way to plug yourself in. Check them out, TheClubhou.se. Type out the Clubhouse, put the period before the SE. Go to the Clubhouse. They're awesome. We love them. We could not thank them enough for what they're doing. Thank you for your patience. And now, back to the show. So the Pinnacle Club is pretty dramatically different than it used to be. And from what I understand, and I'm pretty sure you would agree with this, and anybody that goes up there, and the last time they were there was, 10, 15 years ago, they don't
away.
even recognize the place, right?
No.
Like it's a totally different club. What's kind of your vision for that? And then we'll get to the rooftop bar that's coming,
Restaurant bar,
the restaurant bar.
right?
I love that.
And so the club, and again, we updated and renovated the club. If you have not been there in the past 2 years, you are in for a shock. I mean,
So
it is
most of those renovations were under your watch.
correct. Yep, it was a team effort though. I didn't do all that.
Are you also an interior designer?
No. That was a local firm that we used, and they did just a great job. I mean, again, we gave them a very tall order. A, we don't have a lot of money.
Right.
B, we need to retain the rich history. Right. And C, we need to make sure it's relevant to those new members who come, in the future.
Rumor has it there is a room specifically leather walls. Is that true?
Oh, it is. It's gorgeous.
Y'all
That's
check
my
it out.
favorite room. I turn that into my office sometimes when I'm visiting up here.
I hear it smells like leather too, so it must be real.
Leather and Old Spice.
That's you, though. That's your contribution.
Right. Yeah,
So when you
killer room.
renovated the Pinnacle Club, what's kind of the goal with that? Like, obviously, you're creating these student training jobs. Is there like a next level for that? It seems like you're kind of a next level guy.
Yeah. So again, back to the club piece.
Right.
You got two audiences. You've got the members and the students, right? And you can't sacrifice one for the other. And so it's making sure that you're doing the right things that you're supposed to be doing, and making the club. And we renovated it and are doing things to that place that are bringing it to sustain and to carry on for many years to come. as well as be relevant to a wider swath of the community in regards to diversity. So diversity meaning a lot of things, right? Not just necessarily color or race, but also age. We've got quite a bit of interest of people that have been coming in over the last. We took a little pause during early COVID days,
right? For some reason,
we were on a really good path of smart membership growth, and doing some intentional things to really attract the right person and families to be a part of this. And again, it really appeals to kind of two different demographics, right? It's really going to be, daytime is your lunch crowd, your business crowd, and our ladies come in having a 3 martini lunch or whatever. And then you've got your nighttime is typically more either your business dinners or your social. And so that's really kind of the way the club is used. And also people who like to travel, because we have reciprocal memberships with over 2,500 people that you get access to. Our clubs around the world that you get access to. So that's a pretty big benefit if you like to travel. And but anyway, so the club, again, creating that rich environment for the members, but also a good, rich training ground for the students too, so that they have that really unique experience versus just peeling potatoes for 12 weeks straight.
That builds character, though. I've heard
it
that
does
builds
build character, especially if you do it like when I worked in Charleston, we had to do that. I mean, that was kind of like an afternoon thing for all of the newbies. You basically went out back, and if you've ever felt Charleston heat in the summertime back there peeling, each of us had a 50-pound bag of potatoes, and good luck.
Woo. I'll just go ahead and say no, thank you, and we'll move from that.
Right.
I'm not even sure where this fits into the interview, David, and I apologize.
Well, now seems like a good time for it.
But yeah, between sips of our cocktails, Tripp, you took us to we were fortunate enough to have a lunch at the Pinnacle Club with you, and they brought in this. You said you have to have these crackers.
Oh my goodness!
And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because you told me it was a staple for the Pinnacle Club.
Oh yeah.
So those of you that are listening and y'all want to join the Pinnacle Club, you're going to want to join because of these, and Tripp's going to tell us why.
So this is a staple that we inherited. It had been there for decades. It is as simple as it is. It is a overly buttered saltine cracker with some extra love into it. And then it is literally saltine crackers and served with this smoked sea salt butter. Now, I understand there's been some iterations of this thing over the years. I think at one point when it first started, back perhaps as early as the 70s or 80s, that it was bacon wrap crackers. And so you get all the bacony goodness that soaks into the cracker.
Why aren't y'all doing
So
that?
that's coming back. That's coming back, right?
Well, I think somebody realized at some point
Some kind of heart doctor came out and said we shouldn't be doing this.
Here's a basket of bacon crackers. I think somebody probably got smart with food cost and tried to shift over to butter. But yeah, so these things are and you learn real quick coming in and taking over, leading the operations of a club environment. People are very partial to things, and those crackers, I did them wrong one time, or I didn't, but our chef had not put enough butter on these crackers, and we literally had somebody came up with a little baggie and said, because they had the recipe or whatever, they made them at home, and basically said, no, this
reverse engineer these and get back to me.
You need to fix the cracker.
On the menu, what are they specifically called?
It's actually not on the menu. It's something that's complimentary with every dinner and lunch that you come to.
So you have to try it.
You have to. You literally have to.
And I'm telling you, it's delicious.
It is. And, well, thank you. I mean, you can't not have it, and it takes quite a few. And we'll serve you as many as you want. So,
but in the nature of living longer, you maybe should eat like the first ones they give you and move on.
It's
but
delicious.
It's an experience, which you're all about experiences.
Oh yeah, and I can tell you, 2.5 years ago, I weighed a lot less than this. So partly to blame at those crackers.
So let's move to the next part of your venture. The next part of your venture is, I believe, unless I'm missing another venture, the Edgar's Above Broad, which is a rooftop restaurant and bar. You guys have been very intentional and very deliberate about opening that. Will you talk to us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so we started looking when we moved into this building and the operations for the Pinnacle Club, and We said, we've got some great opportunity here to really kind of expand. Like, how do you do that? Because a lot of clubs have a lot of different benefits and gyms and all sorts of stuff. And that just kind of led to a conversation with the building management, building owner that.
Thank goodness you didn't go the gym route. Or right now you would be really upset.
I wouldn't have been invited here, I'm guessing. Yes, I would be very upset. But maybe one day. I don't know. So we started talking, and we were taken to this third floor space, which used to be the executive offices. And I'm talking, this was cool, man. This was, if you've ever seen Mad Men, I mean, these guys and girls lived like, these offices were just, I mean, it was insane.
You showed us the corner offices. Right. They're like enough room for like 30 people to be in that. And there's one guy sitting at a desk, most likely right by a window doing most likely nothing.
But did they just look at the rooftop or did they stand on it? I feel like that rooftop was never used.
That's where they did their business calls.
I feel like they were like, oh, nope, can't do it.
Can't touch it.
Can't touch it.
So the roof, it's a little bit of a confusing thing because you think, down at the Augusta University building rooftop. Right, a rooftop restaurant and bar. So people are thinking so it's above the Pinnacle Club, right?
You're thinking 18th floor, right?
No, there's nothing but cooling units up there. No, it's actually kind of the third floor. So,
and do you want to be on the 18th floor rooftop?
It's a little windy.
That is the next plan.
We're getting there, man. Don't give away secrets.
Hold on.
Let's try this one first.
Driving range.
Yeah. So this space on the outside used to be essentially the roof of the bank lobby. And think back to the days of, when banks were built back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I mean, the huge 3-story, floor-to-ceiling glass and just these beautiful lobbies. And so this was the bank lobby or the bank branch or lobby, main headquarters roof, this third floor space. But yeah, it jutted out. I mean, you basically walk out. They had sliding glass doors, and the executives could walk out. And at the time, they had, I don't know what it was used for over the years, but I don't think it was ever used for anything remotely close to this. But it had, maybe a couple of picnic tables, almost like a break area if they wanted to step outside and not have to go down
like an executive break area.
Right.
There's never more than 7 people on that floor at any given time.
No need to be, right?
Right.
Space. You don't want anybody messing with your bar.
This can have a capacity of 1,500 people, but only 30 people at a time.
Yeah, close the door. There's 7 people already up there. We're good.
You gotta have space to think, right? Those are the big idea, folks. But
so when did this start? When is the inception of this?
So this was about a year and a half ago, right? So we were already kind of getting into the Pinnacle Club piece and the renovation of that. Right. And so the conversation started. And so we, basically it was, okay, we can take these massive offices and turn them into some great private rooms or meeting space or something, right? And then we were standing there and just, me, our CEO, our CFO, and, some other folks were just like, what about that space? Like, you guys want that space for what? And this is almost 10,000 square feet of outdoor rooftop space. Right? I mean, it's a big footprint.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so what are you going to do with that? Like, I don't know. I bet we can come up with some ideas though. And so that led to some brainstorming and what can we do? And so we started creating the idea of let's create a world-class outdoor rooftop terrace and bar kind of thing, right? Something that Augusta has never seen. And again, this was before the idea of, some of the other rooftop spaces in town. I think they were kind of under construction.
Probably simultaneous, right?
And so, we were thinking but how do we do it bigger? How do we do it better? And then how does it tie back to our mission? How does it, because again, we're not in the business of opening restaurants and bars and things like that. So
it's important to mention, we've been talking about the Pinnacle Club. We've been talking about this rooftop bar and grill. All of this is goodwill. Mm-hmm. Yep. At the end of the day, this is all goodwill.
Yep. And this is all, again, taking missional dollars back into the community and basically repurposing it right back into, continuing to grow this. So, anyway, so we said, okay, how does this tie back to our mission and what we're doing? Because, we want to make this a big deal. So back to a comment I made earlier about a destination school, right? So this is a place where not only locals can take advantage of something like this, but this also attracts regionally, perhaps eventually even nationally, to get people to come in. And so now with the Pinnacle Club on the 17th floor and the Edgar's Above Broad, which is going to be on the 3rd floor of the 699 Broad Street building, we now have a ability, and we just recently got it approved through the Board of Education and our accrediting body, a degree in culinary operations in clubs and resorts.
And that's totally unique to you guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's not another degree out there like
You
that.
guys basically made that up and said, we are going to educate people on this. And they're like, yeah, you are. You're
so
right.
if a guy
they poked a lot of holes in it. I mean, it's not that easy to get a degree approved. There's a lot.
I made it seem a lot more simple than it was, but that is the end result. The end result is that you created your curriculum.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And we did it in partnership with a luxury hotel at Lake Oconee. And they are essentially going to be the folks that these students will have some experience both here, because again, now all of a sudden, if I'm a culinary student, I want to work in a club and resort environment. I come here, I can work at the Pinnacle Club and get experience there. I can go downstairs, which essentially is a resort type environment, right? And I've now got that on my resume, and so that just gave me a leg up over somebody who just went to a regular culinary school, right?
That's pretty cool.
And you get a little bit of the touch of working in some boutique hotels and stuff.
Yeah,
Cool thing
you
is,
really make me want to go to culinary school. Like,
I still don't want to. But y'all are doing awesome things here.
yeah. And I think this is going to be not only from a venue perspective, right? Not only creating a world-class club that benefits our members exponentially, as well as the students who go there, but also benefiting the city. I mean, we are going to. I am so optimistic about this city and about the things that we can do in this city, and us being on this end of Broad Street. We've had the comments for you guys. I don't know, you're on the wrong end of Broad Street. Like, no, we're going to start being the right end of Broad Street too. And hopefully bridge the other,
especially with the Miller. I mean, y'all are
Right.
the Miller Theater's across the street. The Imperial's not far.
allegedly, there's a museum moving close to here.
Correct. So we have the Arts District with a rooftop bar.
Right.
Yep.
Did you guys have communications with like the Miller and the Imperial and like, hey, this is what we want to do. What do you think about it?
Yeah, early phases we did, and we'll continue those dialogues as they kind of ramp back up. But
What did they say though? Yeah.
They're excited. They are tremendously thrilled,
Absolutely.
because think about it, right? You used to come down here for a show, you had to get in your car to go somewhere, right? If you wanted something before or after. And so now we're going to be the spot that is available, pregame before you go to a show, whether it's the symphony or a concert. Or if when you get out, you got someplace you can literally walk across the street, park one time, and have a ball. And we're going to be adding a feature eventually. I'm not sure exactly the timing of it, but again, a lot of it has to do with shows and things like that.
Right.
But, potentially, don't hold me to it, but our goal is to introduce valet parking. And so our club members, will get access if you're going to a show, or heck, if you're just coming down here for a cocktail.
Wait, so you're telling me I could potentially, if I was a member, I could come here before a show at the Miller, get my car valet parked, go to the Miller, come back, and then get my car and just leave?
You could, perhaps.
You're a brilliant man. Because I would use the hell out of that. That's a great idea. Okay.
Yeah.
That is really
Well, the
cool.
hope is not for you to get back in your car and leave.
Well, of course, it's to come back up. Yeah, yeah.
You get
you're
your
like,
ass upstairs.
hey, you want to come up here? You want to check some stuff out?
Yeah, you want a really nice, expensive cocktail?
Right, right.
Let's do it.
And by the way, we need to do a couple shout outs
We
while we're
do.
here because
Seriously.
you've been working with April Henry King, who
she
did
an
a
awesome
beautiful
job.
mural.
Amazing.
And what is her mural
up
say?
and up and up to get down.
And do you want?
Yeah, come on, take us
Tell-
to it. You
tell
have
us
to.
to
You
that.
have to.
It's so brilliant. And I
You
got to give
must have
April,
it memorized.
April the credit. I'm still trying to wordsmith it because it's a little bit bumpy, but
We should have called her in for this one.
essentially think of our mission of helping people to giving people a hand up, not a handout, right? So we'll start there. But so essentially, this place is on the third floor. So the first up is to get up off of Broad Street up here to get down, right?
Right.
To Edgar's Above Broad and have a good time. Once you're at Edgar's Above Broad, there's potential if you so desire to have some conversation and maybe get up off the third floor to come up to the Pinnacle Club to get down, right? And doing both of those, people coming up to both venues to get down so that they can help fuel the training for people and help them get down to work, giving them a hand up.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect kind of marriage of Augusta, get down, get funky, with your thinking where you're like, hey, let's build this out. Let's make it elegant. Let's make it big. Let's do a rooftop. I think that's awesome. And we also have to shout out Zach McCabe.
Oh, yeah.
At All Equal Parts is what our listeners may know him as, because he will occasionally be in the studio making incredible cocktails for us. But he's also helping you make some incredible cocktails?
He's designing the whole cocktail menu. Zach, Zach, it was really funny. I engaged with him. I'm trying to scratch my head and saying, okay, we want to have incredible food. And I'll tell you about our chef in a moment. But
Oh, yeah.
we also want to have incredible cocktails that match that. And so I'm scratching my head and going, okay, what do we want to do? But, I don't want to go bring somebody from Atlanta or Charlotte or DC or someplace like that in here. There's got to be somebody in town that can really help us, create that craft cocktail experience. And I just happened to be on Instagram, and the guy takes the most beautiful pictures of
With
the
his
most
phone.
Beautiful.
With his
With
phone.
his phone
Yeah.
in
Holy
his
crap.
house.
Yeah.
Wow.
His
I mean,
wife helps
that's-
him. It's a 2-person thing, but
But he makes the drinks and comes
yeah.
up with it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so I'm looking, and I've been following the guy for a while, just getting
Right.
inspiration for cocktails and stuff. And then, I'm scratching my head, and I'm kind of coming down to the wire, like, okay, our opening date is starting to approach. I got to really do something on this. And so I randomly, it was literally on a Sunday night after about 6 bourbons, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna mess. And I've never done this before. I'm not a stalker kind of guy.
You slid in his DMs.
I
this.
sent a message and said, "Hey, you don't know me. Sorry, I promise I'm not a weirdo, but I got a project. Can we talk?" And we met up the very next afternoon, and bang, history's made. And so, Zach proudly has designed our entire cocktail menu, both alcoholic craft cocktails, non-alcoholic. Helped to kind of put together some of the different spirits that we're going to have on the shelf. And and he's got a boozy milkshake. I call it kind of a walking around milkshake dessert kind of thing that he's putting
I
together.
did not know that. Zach is in
I
trouble
am
for not telling us
excited.
about that.
So, but yeah, he is putting together some really cool stuff, and we're really excited about him being a part of our program. And so, he's been spending because we're kind of ramping into getting ready for opening and doing our training and stuff. And
Right.
he's committed to help us out and doing the hands-on training and just really inspiring a new generation of bartenders. Because that's kind of his deal, right? He
Right.
not only wants to drink well and make good cocktails, but he wants to change, the face of the city of Augusta in regards to how people drink.
Exactly.
And you know what? Hopefully, we're gonna see a lot of people coming through the doors that will get to experience kind of just that. So.
And so before we kind of wrap this up and put a beautiful bow on it, you mentioned your chef.
Yep.
Talk about how great he is.
Yeah, so we got the cocktail part taken care of. So the food piece is a guy named Chef Frank Kastner. Frank came to us, the silver
And
lining.
he's the Pinnacle Club chef, right?
Yeah, well, he's actually our corporate chef, if you will, our corporate executive chef.
He is brilliant. I've had his food in an innumerable amount of occasions, and he is brilliant.
Yeah, in the silver lining of this, opened up a bevy of talent from around the country that was interested. I mean, we posted this job, and we had just countless quality candidates, and it came down to Frank. And Frank, he's got 17 years experience in the Ritz-Carlton throughout the world in multiple locations. He's also just recently came to us after about a 4-year stint at Montage Resort out at Palmetto Bluff, which is just outside of Savannah and Hilton Head. He brings a worldly cuisine with him. He's got a lot of coastal experience, obviously, from his past 4 years, and he has put together a menu that is just going to be a knockout. I mean, our cuisine down there beyond the cocktails is going to be focused on more small bites, shareable plates, tapa style kind of menu.
What is the food item that you are most excited about people trying?
Oh my gosh, it is. There's 2 of them actually.
Okay.
One is a scallop dish. It's a pan-seared scallop with.
Done. I would like one.
but
Bring
the-
it
but
up.
the-
On the
I would like
rooftop?
one.
Oh yeah.
People, you need to get excited about this. This is not like bar food. This
Yeah,
is
that's-
like
Good stuff. So here's the best
elevated
one.
for you.
Oh, that's not the best one.
Oh, that's not the most creative one. So
Okay,
the fun one
okay.
that he pushed me on, I was like, oh man, Frank, I don't know. It's a. Have you heard about it in the past? You've seen these the little burger sliders that are with a Krispy Kreme bun kind of thing. Remember that phase?
No.
So he's done a slider that's got a local cheese and a Wagyu beef, and it's a cinnamon roll. Is the bun. And I said, we're either going to drop this off the menu after a day because people are going to be like, what?
Or it's going
Or
to be
it will be a
nationally
staple
known.
that we
Yeah.
will never be able to take off the menu.
Or University Hospital is going to have more
Sponsor
calls
it.
than ever. they're gonna sponsor
Sponsored
it.
by the Heart Clinic.
But yeah, he's behind the menu here. He's behind the menu at the Pinnacle Club, and he's also home based and designed the menu for Edgar's Grill too.
I have to ask, can you get the crackers on the 3rd floor?
You have to
You
join the
have
Pinnacle
to be
Club.
a member of the club.
Do you hear that, people? You have to.
You got
you
to.
have to be a member.
One of the many privileges.
I don't know if we can ask this, but how much does it cost to be a member of the Pinnacle Club? If we can't talk about it, we don't need to put it.
So
on
I can. I'm hesitant to give a specific number, but I can tell you it's a lot more reasonable and affordable than one would think.
Well, and you guys kind of base it on like people's ability to pay a lot of the time, right?
Well, not ability to pay, but it's your age. So there's different brackets based off of your age and whether you're local or not. So there's really, we've kind of narrowed it down to a
So if you're if you're a young local, you're in the best situation. Is that accurate?
It depends. You got to define best, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's very reasonable. It's not free by any means.
Of course.
You get what you pay for, and it's a great quality experience. And we feel like we have created an incredible value for the amount of the membership is, and we're very proud of what we've done. And we've got a lot of people that have been signing up, which is great. And again, it's by invitation only, but we know some people you can talk to and see if it's right for you.
And let's wrap this up real quick with what are the Pinnacle Club benefits for Edgar's? Because you mentioned that earlier in the episode.
Yeah. So that's kind of the real
aside from
spot.
the valet parking.
Yeah. So we'll start off with 10% discount over Edgar's Grill. So you can go over there. Plus you can have charging privileges. It's kind of a thing in a private club world. You can put it on my account, kind of thing. So you can say it like that.
You get a monocle when you say that,
right? Put that on my account.
A top hat.
Right.
So Edgar's Above Broad in particular, the benefits are tremendous. So there's some really cool premium seating that's around the perimeter, and it sits by the glass that overlooks Broad Street and the Miller Theater. And you're right in the premium seating area. And so that's going to be reserved for club members only. If you're not a club member, you will not be sitting there. Yes, I will let that seat go empty until all night long.
You'll sit in it before anybody else.
Well, I'm a member. So
There you go.
So you got that. The space has capacity after COVID or the vaccine or whatever happens that we can accommodate about 540 people. And so what that translates into is there's probably going to be a line. Well, guess what? Club members, you show your car. You remember I'm a member of the club. Think of it Fast Pass, like someplace down in Florida that coined the name Fast Pass. So you can get right in, skip the line.
Thank you for the legal protection.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're going to have benefits for members that will do private events, right? So you can do 500 people on a non-COVID time. You can do 540 people on a Friday, Saturday night. Reality is on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're probably not. That allows us to create special, unique, boutique private events. Think of wine tasting under the stars. We've got a rec tech down there, BFG Grill, that is awesome. And we may even have some folks from rec tech maybe that come and do a cooking demonstration just for Pinnacle Club members. All sorts of really cool, unique things that you're only going to get access to there. You also get some free room rental. We have some private meeting space down there that you can enjoy during the day. And then again, you can put it on my account if you want to. And you also get a discount on food and beverage down there as well. So.
And just one more time, all of this is Goodwill.
Yep.
All of this money, no matter what happens, no matter what people are doing, all of it at the end of the day, this is a Goodwill Enterprise.
This is Goodwill of Middle Georgia and the CSRA.
That's the craziest part
about all. This is not Goodwill New York, Goodwill wherever. It is a full cycle where it starts with your donation, filters all the way through the things that I've been talking about and the services that we offer, and fuels right back into expanding it.
That's really cool.
This
is
incredible. Your
Goodwill investing into Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, it's your community.
And restaurants.
Yep. Right.
Excellent.
Good time, investing in changing people's lives and having a good time.
Cinnamon roll sliders.
So
could be a thing.
It's about to be.
Let's make it go viral.
It's about to be.
That's gonna be disgusting. I'm gonna.
I tell you, we did a tasting yesterday for the first time on that particular item, and
I'm a little
was blown
upset
away.
we weren't invited.
I got to taste it first, right? Make sure it's right.
Sure. Tripp. Okay.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we talk to Tripp Harrison about how he feels about dropping the disc. Thank you so much for listening to the Drop the Disc podcast, recorded at Augusta Podcast Studio.
So the little guide to Augusta is this red book. It's kind of little.
Little red book.
It's not too big. It's called the Little Guide Augusta. It is your one-stop shop for all local businesses.
Chris, I'm opening this right now, and I just randomly opened to a page, and I found a community partner on it.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
That's it. They've got the best businesses. They've got the most local people. It's an incredible model.
And it's, David, it's free. This little red book is free. Pick it up in any boutique, any restaurant, any local service, and take it home and put it on your coffee table for any guests that you might have. And I'm telling you, not only that, I encourage all of you to follow them on Facebook or Instagram. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, yeah.
On Facebook, they just talked about Bee's Knees, which is a tapas local restaurant downtown Augusta. And they're talking about Bee's Knees moving into being a grocery store. They're keeping us up to date with local businesses in Augusta, Georgia. And I'm telling you, it's not just the Little Guide to Augusta Red Book. Guys, if you don't know about the Little Guide, check them out right now. Facebook, Instagram, or just get that little red book.
TheLittleGuide.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are we ready to...
We're about to tie this bow. I want to ask one more question because I like to ask people, especially in your industry where you are working with Goodwill, but you are also in the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the service industry has been dramatically impacted by COVID-19.
A little bit.
I've got to ask, how are you guys dealing? How are you feeling about the future?
Right. I think that just even opening back up as limited capacity as we can, if you were able to kind of make it through the other side of this right now, people are pent up wanting to come out. I mean, we're seeing, even the limit, half the capacity, if you will, that we had, we've got people calling, making reservations. Our brunch is back, our award-winning brunch at Edgar's Grill, and it is, we're back up to the numbers we were doing before. We're spreading out the hours, of course, because you can't sit everybody at once. But, there is pent up. People want to support us. And, man, I tell you, during all this, too, we were doing some kind of like curbside and casseroles and things like that, just trying to pivot and adjust. And, man, it was amazing to see the people that came out and said, I'll take 100 casseroles.
Wow.
I'll do this. I'll do that, because they wanted to support us and support some others. And so this community really wrapped their arms around our industry. And I feel, although it's going to be, I think we've got some painful months ahead. I think on the other side of this, that there's some really positive hope and positive things, because at the end of the day, hospitality, whether it be events, whether it be going out to dinner, people want to have a good time. There's so many stresses in life that people want to escape, and our industry is the place they go. And so, I think that we've got a bright future ahead of us.
Well said. I'll turn it over to you, Chris.
Are we about to tie the bow?
I think so.
Let's do it. All right. So, Tripp.
Yep.
This is Drop the Disc podcast. And Drop the Disc comes from that horrible term that you may or may not have heard.
Nasty.
Disgusta.
Sadly, I have.
If someone... Okay, I'm going to take it back a little bit. So, you've been in Mississippi. You grew up in Mississippi. You went to Charleston, Atlanta, and now Birmingham, Charlotte,
yep.
all these places. Past 4 years, you've been in Augusta. If someone were to come up to you in Augusta right now and talk negatively about the city, or maybe someone call you that talks negatively about the city, what would your response to them be?
You don't know Augusta. You need to open your eyes and you need to check it out. This city's got a lot going for it, and a bright future. And you need to, again, be a part of changing it versus be a part of bringing it down. We got our issues, sure, like any city, but there's so much hope and promise in this city, and so that's what I'd say to them. You need to do some research before making a statement like that.
And as we close, when does Edgar's Above Broad open?
So right now we're planning on opening within the first week or two of September. So that's next week or the week after.
So could I comfortably say that you will let us know and we'll post about it and let people know?
Absolutely.
Well, heck yeah.
I hope to have you all there for the opening.
Oh, heck yeah.
Can I confidently ask?
Check out our Instagram for pictures of those sliders.
Right.
Yeah, I was about to say, can I confidently ask that I can have a cinnamon roll slider?
We can do a private tasting, maybe.
Okay.
Tripp, you're a fantastic guy.
Thank
I've
you,
known you
Tripp.
for a while. We've had this great relationship
Yes.
since we moved in the studio. We really appreciate you being here, and we couldn't thank you enough.
Thanks for
you.
believing in Augusta, man. Thanks for moving here.
No,
Seriously.
absolutely. Thank
This
y'all
is
for doing
awesome.
this. This is awesome too. I've really enjoyed this podcast, and it's helped open my eyes to even more of what's going on in the city. So keep
Not
doing
just
what you're
the
doing
free
too.
liquor saying that,
Right? No, not at all. But no, y'all keep doing what you're doing too.
Tripp, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Tripp.
Thank y'all.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave us a review on iTunes.
Make sure you subscribe.
Please subscribe and leave us a review.
Tell a friend.
I said review.
Review.
Review on iTunes, please, and tell us what we're doing good, what we're doing, what we need to get better at. We'd love to hear that critique.
Follow us on Instagram.
Guys, we're excited to tell you next week we will be doing Augusta Rock series with John Kruger. Super excited about that. He
Local
is
musician.
local musician.
Let's go.
Yes, and he's got great music, great singles, great originals. We are super excited to do an episode with him. But we have some last minute shout outs.
Yeah, so first of all, we need to give some special thanks to our community partners. We've got Dirty Gurl cocktail mixers up in here. We've got Second City Distilling, which I've been drinking their blackberry whiskey this episode with a little slice of orange. If you get their blackberry whiskey, put a slice of orange in it. It is fantastic. And finally, at All Equal Parts, Zach McCabe. He has a beautiful bar in our studio. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just in awe at
Zach,
how well put together it is.
Zach, if you're listening, I made a phenomenal.
He did.
Phenomenal.
It's got honey in it.
No, I'm not even talking about
Oh,
that.
you're not even talking about that one?
A phenomenal old fashioned for
Oh, yeah.
Tripp.
A couple other people should have got some airtime this episode. They didn't get any airtime, but they deserve us to say their names.
Absolutely.
We got Jake at the Pinnacle Club. He is the bartender. He is Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Incredible bartender. Jake, you are a fantastic guy. And Glenn,
Glenn, you are the man.
the man.
Literally the man. You know my name, you know David's name, and you know everybody else's name that's a member of the Pinnacle
The
Club.
whole city of Augusta, most likely, honestly.
Absolutely, man. You helped us out numerous times.
This is our guy, man. Glenn upstairs at the Pinnacle Club. He is giving them a good name. He will remember your name.
Oh,
Hospitality personified.
thank you, Glenn, for everything, man. And Tripp, seriously, thank you for coming and sitting down with us and doing an excellent episode with us.
Yes, sir. Y'all tune in next week.